Alright, so this is by far my most bipolar and successful format I think I've ever been at. Reason I say that is because my Salem event was so disastrous for me. And it wasn't even like the deck I build was performing terribly. It was just me as a person fucked up on such a rookie level that it was extremely fucking embarrassing. But we'll get into that in a minute. After I topped the Seattle Regional, I pivoted to Radiant Typhoon as a rogue deck that I really enjoyed. I already had my invite, so I wanted to play something completely different that I've never played before, and I fell in love with Radiant Typhoon. It's a lot of fun. It's not nearly as combo-centric. You can do a lot of interesting things with it. You can play around Droll really well. This deck doesn't have any particular weaknesses outside of itself and the Fallen and the Virtuous, and I really, really enjoy it. It's been so much fun. I got another invite, actually, at my local OTS championship. I got first place with a kind of a caveat. I got first place, but the reason I won my finals was because the guy I played against, I beat him round one, or game one. Game two, we're siding, and then the judge all of a sudden wants to start doing deck checks, which, by the way, he started doing deck checks after, like, round three, which I don't know why you would do that. Like, you should start doing deck checks at round one and then continue doing them all day, or at the very minimum, deck check somebody, like, look at the decks, like, before round one. Like, you should skim over the deck list forums as like a rule and then go into deck checking everybody. But anyway, the reason this matters is because in the second game, after we side, the judge comes over and is like, hey, I'm gonna deck check you guys. I'm like, okay, cool. He's already deck checked me. I know I'm fine. He deck checks me. I'm fine. My opponent, who is playing Branded Dracotail, didn't put any Dracotail cards in his deck list. Like, he didn't even have 40 cards in his main deck. He was just like, yeah, I just put in all my hand traps in my branded cards and just forgot the Dracotails. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I won game two, which, I mean, I guess I'll take it. I got another crown mat out of it, which I moved immediately to the judge. But I don't know, man. That shit was so whack. I don't know. I would have preferred to just played it out. But whatever. I'm not going to say no to that. I'd be dumb to. And then... oh, God, I should have taken that as, like, a omen of things to come. If you don't know, I recently got a new job where I start work at 2 a.m. Unloading trucks. And I brought with me my deck, everything with me, my deck profile, my deck list, and I printed them out the morning before I left. I got all that done. And then, of course, the ban list was announced to be the day after the Salem Regionals, which is today, the 18th, at the time of recording. I put together a post-ban list deck list that had, like, Manifestation and Extravagance. It was more experimental. It was just extenders, just to see which ones were the best in terms of, like, actually playing before I actually worried about non-engine. Oh, God. I brought that list and gave it to the judge. The same judge, the head judge, who is the guy I worked with at the Salem Regionals when I judged it last month. Oh, God, that was so embarrassing. Anyway, I had all the cards on me to build it. My round 5 opponent, we went to time, so I just gave him the win. It was a shame scoop. And then my next round, I played, and then I bricked twice. And then that was my third loss. My actual real loss was to Dracotail, which is one of the guys actually topped. So I would have had good tiebreakers if I didn't fucking fumble the deck list like a fucking rookie. Oh, God, that was so embarrassing. Anyway, that disaster aside, I tried to use Salem as a reason to test for Nats. And to be honest, my theory, I think, was relatively proven correct. I would need to test it more post-ban list. The theory was that I think Radiant Typhoon might be the silver bullet against Cooltoon because of the insane amount of board breakers it can play and cards that the deck cannot interact with at all. Ghost Ogre, Bell, Mourner, the more generic hand traps like Delta just are not effective against this deck. It's very easy for this deck to snowball advantage if your opponent doesn't do anything, and this deck does not worry about Droll, at least pre-ban list. So I will have to test more of it going into the new format, but the concept works in terms of, like, my non-engine. So I think that will probably be very instrumental into what I play going into the Nat season, as I'm currently undecided. So, Despite all that, here's my deck list, and then once we're done with the deck list, I'll go over my general thoughts on the ban list, because I have some opinions on the ban list that I think are worth talking about. Okay. Also, apologies ahead of time. I believe I'm picking up a cold. 3 Crocea, 3 Swen, 3 Eldam, 1 Grunix, I don't care what you call it, this thing is Grunix, 1 Magala, 1 Vortex, I don't care what you call this thing's the Whale, 1 Shield Bearer. This is probably cuttable. I don't know if we're going to need more of this post-ban list, because I don't know how important it is to play drollable searches over quick play spells you can use to interact with Crocea post-ban list, but we'll talk about that later. That's all the monsters. Spells, 3 MST, 3 Chant. Obviously, this is going to be cut to 1 after the ban list because they hit this to 1 for some reason. 3 Visions. This is the one I thought they were going to hit. I thought this was going to absolutely go to 1 because this card is being seen in fucking everything. And it would have been a pretty interesting hit because a lot of the like Mitsu variants are playing this over hand traps. So I thought this would have been the way. It was not for some reason. 1 Ascendance, 1 Mandate. That's all the engine. It's pretty self-explanatory. Non-engine, 3 Fua and 3 Sheena. These were the only 2 hand traps I main decked. I did not want to play hand traps that I could not use to interact with Crocea. Fallen in the, well, we'll get into them when we get to them. But Sheena was absolutely insane. Occasionally you side this going, or side one of these out going first, but otherwise this is like the best board breaker. It's the best hand trap in this deck by far. You can sometimes even like cheekily open this with like a Crocea. Trigger Crocea, and on your opponent's turn, if they just completely don't play around this, you can just bully them with it. This card was extremely good into Cool Tune. The fact that their quick play spell is like part of their end board means that this is like usually live. Call by, obviously, and then the non-engine that really matters. 3 Crown, 3 Super Poly, and then 3 Fallen in the Virtuous. Okay, so the idea with this deck, like I said, is to be the anti-Cool Tune deck. Super Poly, 1 card breaks their entire board. You get rid of Zaylin. The only thing you have to deal with is the 2 quick play spells, which, to be honest, are less detrimental to you and more detrimental to your opponent, because if they activate them, they risk playing into your big guys. Fallen in the Virtuous was the like non-meta pick. Like this was not specifically for Cool Tune. This was more pivoted to Dracotail, because at Salem I did have to still respect Dracotail for at least a couple more hours. And then until that deck gets neutered, because again, apparently it's the pure build that's the problem and not the branded cards. Anyway, this was obviously broken. And then Forbidden Crown. This was by far the best going first card against Cool Tune, and it was not even close. Like if they normal summon any of their starters, you crown it, and then if they don't have the field spell or the quick play spell, they just lose on the spot. This was a silver bullet for them. Going second, this was even good because their best play is like Zaylin plus like 2 quick play spells, and this just checks that the moment they go into their quick play spells, or if they go into RS, this just checks it on the spot. I thought this was excellent. I would not change this non-engine in any way for this event. The only thing I would maybe consider post-ban list is cutting the Fallen and the Virtuous, but that entirely depends on the meta that shapes out, and entirely on how good this is into Cool Tune. Anyway, that's the main deck. Extra deck we can talk about real quick. 2 Eidolon. Post-ban list, you'll probably need to play 3 of this, because you're probably going to play Pot of Extravagance. Despite my chagrin, I really don't want to play Extravagance in this deck. I hate it. I don't like that this deck now has to play into Droll, which is another card they didn't ban for some reason, but it's okay at 2, because it's okay if you see it sometimes, but it's also okay if you don't see it. I don't fucking know. 1 Hesfralgar. I mean, these don't really matter. These are only here to either push for damage or be good in the mirror match. Hesfralgar is like, I think I've made it once since I've started playing this deck. It comes up occasionally against Dracotail where you can turn off like their Fimena or whatever, but it's very mid. You're better off just making like Great Fly or Win into doing stuff like that. I even played the Ulti Retriari, the Ritual Beast Link 4 for a while. It was okay. I made it once or twice. I added a Dark Law with it once, which was funny, but that's it. Totem Birds, Cicada King, this out to Nat Beast, which with the amount of like magnet words running around, that comes up. So this came up. 1 Typhoon, and then 3 Super Poly targets. Theseus, this thing was a pain to find. I did not realize this only had 2 printings. I could have sworn this was reprinted as like an Ultra and something, but I could be just tripping. And 3 Albion. I didn't play the Ecclesia. I didn't see a reason to. I would be better off just playing this because I can unironically use more than 3 copies of Fallen and the Virtuous because I can shuffle it back so much. It's come up a handful of times, and the extra deck in here is just not tight at all. Like, there's like 5 cards in here you could swap out for literally anything in the game, and it just doesn't matter. It's the extra deck. Pretty standard stuff. Side deck. 1 Tikaboo, 2 Droll. You side in Tikaboo when you're going first against a matchup where it matters. This card sucks balls against Killer 2 now, so you don't really need it. Droll is obviously broken against Mitsu. I don't need to explain why this card is playable. I don't know why it's at 2. Like, just put it 3 or nothing. It's not fun to play against. I'd rather just the card be banned. 3 Droplet. I would side out and fall in the Virtuous for this into either Killer Tune or the Dracotail matchup. It's okay going second, or Fall in the Virtuous is okay going second to Dracotail because you can like trade with their flame, which is fine, I guess. But you'd be better off doing this because going first or second, this turns off Arthalion, which is extremely, extremely good. 3 Perulia for the mirror, 3 Ash. I would side out the Fulos for this most times. Bro, I don't want to agree with Joshua Schmidt on this, but I think Ash might need to start getting hit. Okay, that's another conversation entirely, but I think they need to ban Call by Crossout, and then if they do that, I think this might be next on the list. And then this was a meta call. Evenly Matched was for Dracotail. I expected a lot of Dracotail. I was not wrong. It was by far the most represented deck in top 8. So I would not have changed the side deck pretty much at all. This is the thing I spent the most amount of time on, though. Most cuttable is probably the Tikaboo. I don't really think that's a problem, though. I think it's fine. Well, doesn't matter anymore because the format's over. Yeah, what else is there to say? The ban list. Oh, God, the ban list. Okay, so you guys know I played Vanquishable Canine at Seattle. I got 5th place with it. And I think at that entire event, after all 8 rounds, I think I normal summoned Roy once. Maybe twice. Because I opened it. And I didn't have another play. I don't know why they banned that instead of Ripper. Like, who cares if you can look at your opponent to see what hand traps they have when you can just negate the hand traps that they have anyway? Like, it's so dumb. I don't get why they did that. They should have just banned Ripper and then give us Halley back to 3. But that's just me. That's just me. I guess it really neuters the Crystron build. I don't think that's the problem, though. I think the Ripper is by far the biggest problem. I don't know why they didn't ban that. Chant to 1 is stupid, and I hate it. Konami keeps doing this thing where they're punishing the pure decks for existing and not hitting the bridges or the like actual problem cards. Like, the problem cards in Dracotail were not the Dracotail cards, it was the branded cards. Like, I get Fallen the Virtuous and White Dragon are kind of new. I think Fallen the Virtuous could have gone to 1 or 2. I think Branded Fusion absolutely could have gotten banned over hitting Arthalion or Lucius. Like, I don't think we should be hitting Rahu or Ketu. Actually, I think we should put Ketu to 3 if we're going to limit Rahu. Like, Ketu is such a good, like, balanced card. I don't see why that needs to be hit. I don't understand the logic of this ban list. Same thing with Chant. Like, Chant was, I mean, don't get me wrong, you played it at 3 in Pure, but they're not hitting Pure. Like, they want to hit the, like, slop yummy decks that are playing it, like the Kamal Crooks build from, what YCS was that? I don't remember what YCS it was. I think it was the 300th. I don't get it. I don't understand the logic behind this ban list. I guess with Chant going to 1, I'm gonna have to test different things like the deck list that I submitted for Salem was playing Extravagance over that. Oh God, I don't even want to talk about Salem, dog. It was such a fucking rookie mistake. Anyway, where was I? Oh, and the yummy hits, dude. Why are we putting one of Synchro Monsters to 1? Like, why aren't we just banning them and then leaving, like, Cupsy to... Oh, my God. I get putting Cupsy to 1, but why put Cupsy Yummy Way to 1 instead of... Like, I get... Like, maybe they're doing it because they think Killtoon will just snipe it out of the extra deck? Like, I don't know. Crackle is such a... Like, a card that just does not come up enough to justify that. I don't get it. This whole ban list was whack. Like, Rose Whip to ban was fine, I guess, but that was the bare fucking minimum. That's, like, the one thing they got right on this ban list. I don't know. This is by far, like, a huge step backwards for ban lists that we've seen in a while. like Droll not getting banned, Ripper not getting banned, Defissure, Macro, Shifter not getting banned, not talking about call by crossout. Like, it's insane to me that a ban list this mid, like this ban list was such an alley-oop. There was like 5 different ways you could hit this format to make it good. They didn't hit any of the bridges. They didn't hit like Zombie Vampire. They left Mitsu completely untouched. They didn't even hit Purification, which would have been such an easy way to check Mitsu. Like, it would have gotten rid of the one like genuinely toxic thing that Mitsu does, which is the Omni negate on top of the double Reborn and Raigeki. Like, it's insane. I think this ban list was a complete miss. I don't know, man. I'm gonna miss this format. I think this has by far been my most successful format I've done in a long time. I'm hopeful for the new format. I don't hate Killer Tune. I actually just picked up the engine this weekend, so I'm gonna try it a little bit. But that's it. That's all I gotta talk about. I'm tired. I'm gonna go like snort cocaine and like pass out. That's it. It's later.